Okay, so for today, we're learning a little bit different format, but it's the same exact concept of this whole idea and practice of substitution. So I am going to start with a problem here. So these don't have context like we've been doing the last couple days. These are just practices or practice problems that I'm going to take you through. So in this first one, we have 5 minus y is equal to 3x. And then the second one is y is equal to 2x. Again, I do want you to know that what we're trying to do here is to figure out where these two lines intersect each other. So that's kind of the end goal, and I always want to circle back to that. Desmos is a great place. If you wanted to go and graph the two of these, you could actually see them and make sure that your solution works that way. But for this one, I'm going to use substitution. And since this one's already solved for y, I'm going to take this one. So y is equal to 2x. Any place there's a y in the first one, I'm now going to substitute, which is right here, by the way. Okay. I'm now going to put in instead 2x to solve. Okay. So we have 5 minus, and instead of a y, I'm putting in 2x is equal to 3x. Okay, so now I can go through and solve this. This is just 5 minus 2x. So I'm going to actually add the 2x to the other side to get it over here with this x. Okay, so I have 5 is equal to 5x, which means x is equal to 1. X is equal to 1. Well, now I need to plug that back in to figure out what y is equal to. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually plug it back into this bottom one because it seems a little easier. And so now what I have is y is equal to 2 times, instead of x, I'm going to put in the 1. I'm substituting in 1 instead. We get y is equal to 2. You know what? To double check this, I always like to double check. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the top one because we only plugged it into the bottom one here to solve it. So now I'm going to plug it into the top one to make sure it works in that one too. This is kind of like our check. Okay, so I have 5 minus my y, which is 2, should be equal to 3 times my x, which is 1. That should be equal to each other. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 is equal to 3. Yep, I know that I've done it correct. I'm going to actually show that to you in Desmos as well, just because it's always good to see like, well, what does that actually look like visually? So I'm going to quickly do this one in Desmos so that all kind of comes full circle to you. These should intersect at the point x equals 1, y equals 2. These two graphs of these lines should intersect there. Okay, so let's look at Desmos really quick, graphing calculator. The first equation, I'll put in y equals 2x because that one's already solved for me. So I'll do that first one, y equals 2x. The second one, I have to solve this one first to put it in Desmos. So what I would do first for that is I would have negative y is equal to, I'm going to move that 5 to the other side. So 3x minus 5. But I don't want it to be negative y. I think I could probably put that in here, but I like it to be y instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by the negative, and I'm going to make this one negative and that one positive. So I have y is equal to negative 3x plus 5. That's what I'm going to put in Desmos instead. Okay, so y is equal to negative 3x minus 5. Whoops, not minus 5, plus 5. I said plus, but then put minus. And if you can see here, the point at which they intersect is 1, 2. 1, 2. So oftentimes you'll see me write it as an ordered pair, 1, 2, because that's the intersecting point. And I always like to circle back to that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave that now and come back to this. Okay, I'm going to do this one with you as well. So here's a different problem, another practice problem, another substitution problem. So in this one, I have 6x minus 2y equals 10. And my other equation is 3x minus 5 equals y. Well, for me, naturally, this one's already solved for y. This one I would have to like do some stuff too, right? Like to solve for x or y. This one's already solved for y. So I'm going to use this instead. and plug that every place there's a y over here, which is just this one time right there. I'm now going to pop in this 3x minus 5. So what I have here is 6x minus 2 times. And now I'm putting in this 3x minus 5 equals 10. Equals 10. Okay, now I'm just going to clean it up, do some math. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. And that's going to equal 10. Ooh, this one's interesting because 6 minus 6x or 6x minus 6x, those go away. I actually end up with 10 equals 10, which by the way is a true, that's like a true fact. Whenever we have that, what that means is this is true for every single one. These are the same line. These should be the exact same line. Let me double check. I'm going to actually put them into Desmos again. I just closed it down. I shouldn't have closed it down because I want to make sure that that's actually true. That means anything should work here. So for my first one, I'm going to just keep them in standard form in here just to make my life easier. 6x minus 2y equals 10. Okay. These should be overlapping lines. 3x minus 5 equals y. And look at there. I can go back and forth and you see how they're the same line. So everything works. All solutions work for this. This is true. What we say there is all x's work. Okay. Or all solutions work. Bottom line is they're the same line. I'll take kind of a lot of answers for that, but basically everything's going to work when you end up with a true statement. Okay, I'm glad that one popped up. Okay, let me pop back over to this. I'm going to do one more problem. I'm going to do this last one right here, 6-55, just so we can see one more like this. So for this one, we have y is equal to negative x minus 7. My other equation is 5y plus 3x is equal to negative 13. Okay, let me come down here. Sorry. Okay, so again, I'm going to go for the easy one. This one's already solved for y. This one I would have to solve for y or solve for x. I don't want to do that. So in this one, I'm going to go through and I'm going to take that and where there's a y here, I'm going to pop this into here. So I end up with 5 times, and now I have negative x minus 7 plus 3x is equal to negative 13. I'm going to distribute this 5 to both of them. So I have negative 5x minus 35 plus 3x is equal to negative 13. I'm going to combine these two. So negative 5x plus 3 is going to be negative 2x. I'm also going to add the 35 to the other side. So I'm going to take negative 13 and add 35. Okay, so that's the same thing as 35 minus 13 to get 22. Right? 22. And now I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. Negative 2. That means that x is equal to negative 11. Okay, so I'm going to plug it back into here. I'm going to plug it back in. Let's see what we get. We get y is equal to negative 11. That's going to end up being positive minus 7. So positive 11 minus 7, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I should get y is equal to positive 4. I don't really feel like plugging this in over here, okay, because it takes a little bit of time, but I want to make sure I'm right. So what I'm going to do instead, because I could plug it in for X and Y here to make sure it's correct, I'm actually going to graph these things in Desmos. You can see how useful Desmos is. And I hope you guys use this as a tool on your project, this unit, because it can really, it should solve it for you. You should know right away whether you either did it correct or not, or if you're having a hard time with the math, you'll at least know the answer to it, and then you can work backwards. But I'm just putting in both of the equations right now. Okay, so you'll notice that I have the top one, the bottom one. I'm going to go ahead and pull it back to here, and you'll notice that that is the solution right there to the two of them. It's -11x and my y is 4. So I now know that I did this correctly without having to actually plug it back in. Desmos is very useful. Okay, go ahead and practice your problems. And if you have any questions, you can pop down to the video below to get homework help.